say, kids, what time is it?
Hey everybody, Keith here once again from the road. Hopefully this is the last one for a while. I should be headed home tomorrow, barring any unforeseen travesties. Just to kind of put it in perspective, I've been home 4 total days since May 30th, and I just burning out. But I'm trying to keep up with things. It's kind of funny that when I was, God, a kid, even actually up through you know. Early adulthood even, this time of year was the summer rerun season. Most of the television shows that I watched would end in May. They'd have a 26-week run or so, 22, 26 weeks. And then they'd go into summer reruns until the new fall season. The complete opposite is happening now with streaming and all these streaming networks. I mean, in a span of a couple of weeks, we're given Obi-Wan Kenobi. We're given Orville season 3. We're given Stranger Things season 4. We're given The Boys season 3. Um, those are just the ones off the top of my head. So it's been difficult to try to keep up, and I'm trying. I will be doing an Obi-Wan Kenobi review at some point. I have watched all 5 of those episodes so far, and I got to tell you, yeah, that's all I'm going to say for now. Um, it's not good. But the Orville's been great so far. I've only seen the first 2 episodes, and I am caught up so far on the boys. I'm trying to distribute my time evenly. So that said, let's get into episode 2 of the Orville real quick. The episode's called Shadow Realms, directed by John Cassar, written by Seth MacFarlane and Star Trek alum Brannon Braga and Andre Bormanis, I think I said that right. So right away, Brannon Braga, when he was a writer on the Rick Berman produced Star Trek shows of the 90s, um, most specifically Next Generation and then Voyager, tended to handle a lot of the weird kind of freaky, supernatural, just kind of the strange, the bizarre, the avant-garde, if you will. So it's no surprise what ends up coming in this episode. So let's just jump right in, shall we? So far in the first 2 episodes, I got to say that like Dr. Claire Finn has had her emotions spun in a circle, torn into different directions. This poor woman has been put through the ringer already emotionally in just 2 episodes. This episode starts with actor James Reed playing what's his name, Paul Christie, Admiral Paul Christie, and they have this awkward kind of exchange in the beginning, and then we find out later on that they were in a relationship when Claire was much younger, and she was actually an intern for him early in her career. It was kind of a student teacher kind of, they fell in love with each other kind of thing. So her feelings for him are gone. He is still like he sees her and he's just like, yeah, I and who could blame him? Penny Johnson's gorgeous, right? So I was thinking, yeah, I don't blame you, man. Penny Johnson. I've had a thing for Penny Johnson since I first saw her in the Larry Sanders Show, way back in like 1992 or three. She's just a gorgeous woman. Um, so the episode begins anyway. The admiral's on the ship to go with Ed Mercer and the crew to meet with the Krill and try to set up this little exploration ceasefire, like a temporary treaty where the Orville can explore Krill space, this uncharted section of Krill space, free passage, um, for a limited amount of time. And then it would the idea is that it would lead to successful negotiation for a permanent peace treaty between the two species. And the Krill oblige, but tell them that like there's this thing they call the Shadow Realm, basically, and that if the Orville decides to go there, and they meet with the demon that lives there, that they won't get any help from the Krill. they're on their own. Whatever happens, we told you. They're like the old man Smithers, like, well, you don't want to go up that hill. No, you don't. Oh, people who go up that hill don't come back. So, of course, Ed Mercer and crew kind of laugh it off as Krill superstition. What do they call those? The folk tales or what have you? The old, uh, what do they call those things? Urban legends. So into the shadow realm they go. So what they go exploring, and Malloy, they get to a spot, and all of a sudden the stars kind of vanish, and it becomes this black void. And our crew of explorers decide to push ahead, and they come across this weird object at the center of it. This glowing red, kind of reptilian looking, or almost like an octopus, even like a sea creature. So they go in for a closer look and decide that they'll take a shuttlecraft down. So Mercer loads the shuttlecraft with the A team here, and off they go, and enter the structure. And right inside, now all of a sudden now I'm getting this alien kind of vibe. It clearly it's kind of fleshy. It's not of this world, and what I loved here too was the lighting and the coloring, and actually, if I back up a second here, I just want to say that the visual effects to this point were unbelievable. Like, this thing really looked awesome. So where was I here? So yeah, so they're investigating inside, and um, almost like the Star Trek red shirts, you can almost see that Admiral Christie he's going to be there to be disposed of in a way. So he stares at, like, they had these purple flower shaped like globules on the wall, and they're kind of pulsating. And he looks at it, and it opens up and kind of hits him with a mist of some sort. And he kind of shakes it off, and he doesn't think much of it. Well, he ends up mutating. His DNA starts to be rewritten when they get him back on the ship, because he collapses as soon as they get back. He collapses, and this metamorphosis is taking place very, very rapidly. So, Claire determines that, basically that it's like a parasite, and it had to have come from this object in the cave. So, this time they put environmental suits on and head back to collect a sample of this thing. But, meanwhile, while they're gone, Claire turns her back on Paul for a couple minutes to go do some research, and he vanishes. And now begins the horror section of the show, where it becomes this haunted house kind of a thing, and very X-Files in a way too. So Nurse Park is the first one to encounter whatever it is that's out there. So he hears a noise, he goes looking for him, and vanishes. At least we think he vanishes. And whether you've seen the episode or not, I just want to say that our friend PJ at Orville Nation has started an online rescue mission to get Nurse Park back and cure him if he has been infected by this parasite. So if you go to @nation_Orville on Twitter and find this tweet from June 13th, please join, respond with a GIF. He's copied Hulu and the Orville on it. Kind of little grassroots. Let's get Nurse Park back. Come on. Because we don't know what happened to him. We never see him again. But meanwhile, Tala runs into a couple of these now fully formed creatures. And because she's possessed, super strength and whatnot and super speed, she kicks the crap out of them and brings one back to Claire. So now Claire has an actual living creature to deal with. So, so on and so forth. We have great scenes where, like, Lamar is in, like, basically a Jeffries tube. If you're a Star Trek fan, he's trying to get the ship powered back up because these aliens cut power, and he's pursued by one. And it's great. It's a great scene where he locks himself in the brig to get away from them, and that's where Tala comes in and saves him by fighting the creatures. And the whole thing culminates where they draw them out, and Claire asks Mercer to let her try to reason with Paul, knowing that Paul's the alpha of the group. He does recognize her. He does decide to stand down because they threaten to just destroy the ship with them. So he decides to leave the ship with all of them, but threatens that they will be back soon. So, episode 2. Real quick, what did I think? I thought it was outstanding. It was classic science fiction. It was classic Star Trek. I'll make no bones about it that Seth MacFarlane understands Star Trek more than the people in charge of Star Trek do currently. And this is real Star Trek. This felt like an episode of Voyager or an episode of Star Trek The Next Generation, where you come across an alien species that, quickly can take over. It's an invasive species. It was just fun, and I really like the design. They were kind of arachnid. They were described as sort of arachnid, with the 8 eyes and whatnot. They were kind of spiders without 8 legs, basically. But they were gross, and it'll be interesting to see. It kind of reminded me also of the last episode of season 1 of Star Trek The Next Generation, where the little parasites infected all the admirals, and then they kill the last one, the last host admiral, and kill the queen creature. But it was sending a distress signal to call the rest of them, and it was a storyline that never got resolved. They never brought it back. They never pursued it again. And I kind of felt that way when the Paul creature here kind of says, "We'll leave for now, but you haven't seen the last of us. We're coming back." So I hope that, I think, because Seth MacFarlane's such a fan of Next Generation, I'm wondering if that's exactly what he's kind of thinking of, where he kind of had that same kind of story with these, parasitic aliens just taking over a humanoid, and then threatening to come back, and this time they will. So it'll be really interesting to see what happens going forward. But so far, the first 2 episodes have been just a lot of fun. It's not serialized storytelling. I like it. It's the alien of the week so far, and I'm having fun with it. So love to know what you guys think. Leave a comment below. Please give a thumbs up or a thumbs down. We're adults here. We can take it. And looking forward to watching episode 3, because I'm quickly falling behind, and hope to see you back in the little geek cave, my geek cave back home, very, very soon. You all take care. Talk to you in a bit.
If you enjoyed this video, please give us a thumbs up below. Also, please subscribe to GeekTime TV. It really helps us grow the channel. And make sure you hit that bell icon in order to receive notifications every time we drop new content here. You can also check us out on social media on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at GeekTimeNet. Thanks again for watching. We will see you soon.
Say, kids, what time is that?